This whole situation is a mess, y'all. Deandra Sanders is not holding back when it comes to calling out Jacquees and his mama, and things are getting real ugly. Now, we all know Jacquees has always been a mama's boy, and there's been plenty of talk over the years about how much control his mom, Miss Rosie, has over his relationships. But this time she might have taken things way too far. Apparently, Miss Rosie has been pulling strings behind the scenes, trying to push Jacquees back toward his ex, Dreezy, even while Deandra was carrying his child. And if that wasn't messy enough, it looks like Dej Loaf is now caught up in the drama too, with claims that Jacquees' mama tried the same trick with her. Meanwhile, Deandra, who was supposed to be his fiancée, just found herself caught in the middle of this chaos. And trust me, she's not about to let this slide. Now let's rewind for a second. When Jacquees first proposed to Deandra, it seemed like they were solid. They had a baby together, and everything looked good on the outside. But then, Jacquees linked up with Dej Loaf to drop a collab album, and that's when all hell broke loose. Deandra has been feeling some type of way about this whole situation, and honestly, can you blame her? The way Jacquees and Dej Loaf have been moving is giving more than just music business. When they started filming a music video for the album, Deandra wasn't allowed on set because her energy was off. And that was the last straw.
I'm not agreeing to that. I'm sorry.
I know, but technically it could be burnt.
But that's not gonna happen.
But Deiondra didn't just take the L, no. She blasted them on social media. She went off saying, people got a fake relationship to sell albums. Stop asking me why I'm not around. I'm not allowed to be around them because Dej would feel uncomfortable if his fiance's there. As I said before, y'all got it. Y'all won. Hopefully y'all little album sells the most y'all ever sold.
Instead of keeping it quiet, Deandra went off on social media, calling out Jacquees and Dej Loaf for faking a relationship to sell albums. She made it clear that she wasn't around because they didn't want her there, not because she chose to stay away. And then she threw the ultimate shade, saying, hopefully, y'all little album sells the most y'all ever sold. Y'all, the pettiness was real. Of course, Miss Rosie wasn't about to stay quiet. She hopped on Instagram right away, dragging Deandra for running her mouth and calling her a dummy for exposing Jacquees and Dej's so-called fake relationship. She was basically trying to clean up the mess, but by then, it was already too late. Then, just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Miss Rosie tried to be shady with Deandra's dad, Deandra Sanders. She posted a thank you message to him for having Jacquees on his show, but Deandra wasn't about to let that slide either. She fired right back. Yes, you're welcome for having your son on my daddy's show. They respected him and welcomed him with class, unlike y'all. Now sis, them hormones must be doing a number on you because the dragging just kept on coming. Deandra then accused Miss Rosie of stealing Jock's money, saying, Miss Rosie better stop playing with me. Nobody off limits now. Go be with your husband and keep stealing and hiding your son's money.
That whole relationship with Jacquees and Dej Loaf, that is not real. I bet you that is not real.
And then Miss Rosie tried to be shady with the thank you, telling Deandra Sanders, Deandra's dad, how much she appreciated him for having Jacquees on his show. And Deandra clapped back immediately. Yes, you're welcome for having your son on my daddy's show. They respected him and welcomed him with class, unlike y'all. Y'all got the right one today. Now sis, them hormones is doing a number on you. But wait y'all, because it gets worse. Deandra went on to accuse Miss Rosie of stealing Jacquees' money. Miss Rosie better stop playing with me. Nobody off limits now. Go be with your husband and keep stealing and hiding your son's money. But after all that back and forth, Miss Rosie was done playing nice. And because there's nothing stronger than a son's love for his mama, you know Jacquees wasn't about to let none of that slide.
That's when things really hit the fan, because if there's one thing a mama's boy is going to do, defend his mama. Jacquees called off the engagement and sent Deandra packing. Just like that, she was back at her mama's house, and all of this because she couldn't keep quiet. But let's be honest, was she wrong for speaking out? Because at the end of the day, Jacquees' mama has been overstepping for years. And speaking of overstepping, can we talk about how Jacquees literally asked his mama for permission before making personal decisions? Before he even thought about proposing to Deandra, guess who he called first? Mama Rosie. Not just for advice, but for approval. And let me tell you, she didn't just give him a simple yes or no. She made a whole checklist of questions for him to ask Deandra: long-term goals, short-term goals, financial plans, the whole 9 yards. She literally had him interviewing Deandra like she was applying for a job. And the only reason she finally gave her blessing? Because Deandra organized his tour bus. Y'all, she walked onto the bus, cleaned up, and Miss Rosie was like, "That's the one." If that isn't the most red flag behavior from a mother-in-law, I don't know what is. And here's the craziest part. Jacquees only proposed to Deandra because he got caught still texting his ex, Dreezy. And guess who knew about it? Mama Rosie. Jacquees and Dreezy had been on and off for years. And while Deandra was pregnant, she caught Jacquees still sending Dreezy gifts and messages, even allegedly begging to get her pregnant too. Dreezy wasn't about to stay quiet either. She blasted him with receipts, showing texts where Jacquees said, "Don't be a dummy, just let me get you pregnant too." And when Deandra saw those messages, she was done. She went online pouring her heart out saying, "I'm just so heartbroken. I don't think I've ever felt like this before." And to make things worse, Jacquees' family did not like her one bit. Word on the street is that his sister, Miracle, even tried to fight Deandra in Tennessee. Some tea-spilling Twitter accounts were all over it, saying Jacquees' sister ran up on her and had her hiding in the back. But Deandra wasn't scared. She clapped back saying, "Let's talk about how once my daddy's security came in, y'all was scared to even be in the same room as me." At this point, the whole Jacquees family drama is out in the open. His mama, his sister, his ex, and his current situation, they are all in this mess together. And now, some people are even blaming Deandra Sanders for not protecting his daughter. One user even said, "Don't be mad at her, be mad at her father. If he gave a damn about her, he would have spoken self-confidence into her and put her up on game so she wouldn't have even looked at Jacquees in the first place." Because let's be real, if Deandra Sanders had really set the standard for Deandra, she wouldn't be putting up with this nonsense. But at the end of the day, the question remains, was Deandra wrong for speaking out, or was she just standing up for herself? Because let's not act like Jacquees was innocent in all this. The way he runs back to his mama every time something happens, the way she tries to control his love life, and the fact that he let his fiancée and the mother of his child feel so disrespected that she had to expose it all online. This whole situation is a hot mess, and I need to know, whose side are y'all on? Is Jacquees' mama too involved, or is she just looking out for her son? Did Deandra take things too far, or was she completely justified? And what's up with Dej Loaf? Is she really involved? Or is this just all for album promo? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because this drama, it's far from over.